How's it going, everyone? Austin Honecker here. I just wanted to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite from last night, which was June 4th, 2021. I gotta say, it was awesome from start to finish. For the matches, match one, it was the Young Bucks, which are Matt and Nick Jackson, versus the Death Triangle, which are Pac and Penta El Cerro Miedo. That was a great match. But the ending to it, the Young Bucks went over because Nick Jackson pinned Pac with a roll-up. Well, before the match, Frankie Kazarian, after the Young Bucks and the Death Triangle were already out in the ring, Frankie Kazarian attacked Michael Nakazawa in the crowd and beat the shit out of him, and the Good Brothers, which are Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, ran after Frankie Kazarian, and the Young Bucks and the Death Triangle brawled and everything, which that was cool. That was before the match, by the way. And after the match, the Young Bucks were beating the shit out of Pac and the Young Bucks attacked Pac and beat the shit out of him, and the Young Bucks were getting ready to execute the BTE trigger on Penta El Cerro Miedo, but Eddie Kingston came out for the save, and the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler retreated on stage, and Eddie Kingston was in the ring and staring down the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler, and while Pac and Penta El Cerro Miedo were laid out in the ring and everything, which that was cool. That was after the match, by the way. Match 2, it was The Factory, which are QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo, versus the Nightmare Family, which are Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson. That was a great match, but the ending to it, The Factory went over because QT Marshall pinned Cody Rhodes with a knockout punch from Anthony Ogogo. Well, after the match, as Arn Anderson came in the ring to tend to Cody Rhodes, and Anthony Ogogo and Aaron Solo were celebrating in the ring along with QT Marshall, but QT Marshall got out of the ring and got a microphone and cut a promo and was talking shit towards Tony Schiavone, saying that telling Tony Schiavone that he never believed in him and he done the unthinkable and beat Cody Rhodes and everything, which that was cool. Match 3, it was Jungle Boy and Christian Cage versus Private Party, which are Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Jungle Boy and Christian Cage went over because Jungle Boy made Mark Quinn tap out to the snare trap. Well, after the match, as Christian Cage and Jungle Boy were celebrating, Jungle Boy continued to celebrate, and Christian Cage got out of the ring and was getting ready to go backstage, but Matt Hardy came out from behind and attacked Christian Cage with the Twist of Fate, and Jungle Boy came to the aid of Christian Cage, but Matt Hardy retreated and everything, and Jungle Boy was retreating to Christian Cage and everything as well, which that was cool. Match 4, it was Red Velvet versus The Bunny. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Red Velvet went over with the Chef's Kiss. And match 5, which was the main event, it was Dustin Rhodes versus Nick Comoroto in a bull rope match. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Dustin Rhodes went over with the Diving Bulldog. Now, besides the matches, Tony Schiavone interviewed Mark Henry, and as the interview was going on, Mark Henry said that he wasn't here to fix AEW because AEW wasn't broken, and that he was there to help AEW grow and everything. And Tony Schiavone asked Mark Henry if he was going to wrestle again. And Mark Henry was saying that he couldn't say yes, but all he can say is he's got a lot left in the tank. Well, Vicky Guerrero came out with her whole "excuse me" quote, and as soon as Vicky Guerrero got in the ring, she made Tony Schiavone and Mark Henry get out of the ring. So Tony Schiavone and Mark Henry got out of the ring, and Vicky Guerrero introduced a new client of hers, and her client was revealed to be Andrade El Idolo. So Andrade El Idolo came out, and Andrade El Idolo got on the microphone and was talking about how he was going to be how he's going to be the face of how he's going to be the new face of AEW and everything. And so Andrade El Idolo and Vicky Guerrero left the ring, which that was cool. The Inner Circle, which are Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz came out, and Chris Jericho was, to cut a promo. The Inner Circle, which are Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz came out to cut a promo, and Chris Jericho was thanking the fans for their support and everything, and Sammy Guevara got on the microphone and was saying how he done backyard wrestling and how he done the 630 senton to Shawn Spears to end the Stadium Stampede, to win the Stadium Stampede match and everything. And Santana got on the microphone and was talking about how beating the Pinnacle, which are MJF, Wardlow, Shawn Spears, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler, and in the Stadium Stampede match wasn't enough because where Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler executed pile drivers to Santana and Ortiz, nearly ending their careers and everything. And Santana was also talking about how that the Inner Circle need to do more to the Pinnacle to end them once and for all. Well, Jake Hager got on the microphone and was talking about how the war between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle wasn't over and everything. And Jake Hager also issued a challenge to Wardlow in an MMA cage fight in 2 weeks on AEW Dynamite and everything. And then Chris Jericho got back on the microphone and was talking about how the war between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle wasn't over, and how MJF nearly ended his career from pushing him off the cage onto the stage after Blood and Guts and everything. And Chris Jericho was talking about how he powerbombed MJF in the crowd and everything. And Chris Jericho was also saying that he was going to beat MJF once and for all because he was going to keep getting revenge and everything on MJF and everything, which that was cool. That was cool. Well, after Chris Jericho got done talking, the Inner Circle embraced a hug and done their middle finger gesture and everything, which all that whole segment was cool. That whole promo was cool. Alex Marvez, Kenny Omega and Don Callis were in the production truck watching footage of the match between Kenny Omega versus Pac versus Orange Cassidy in the three-way match for the AEW title at Double or Nothing 3, and they were gloating on about how Kenny Omega won the match and retained the AEW title and everything, but Alex Marvez came along to interview Kenny Omega and Don Callis, and Alex Marvez was asking Kenny Omega and Don Callis about the best friends, which are Trent, Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, and Chris Statlander's comments on Kenny Omega screwing Orange Cassidy over and everything. And Don Callis was going on about how Alex Marvez was trying to bury Kenny Omega and everything. And then Kenny Omega was saying that, and then Alex Marvez asked Kenny Omega about Alex Marvez brought up Jungle Boy winning the 21-man Casino Battle Royal to earn the right to be the number one contender for the AEW title against Kenny Omega on the June 26th episode of AEW Dynamite and everything. And Kenny Omega was being the cocky heel that he is, and saying that neither man in the Casino Battle Royal was in the top 5 rankings to earn a shot at the AEW title. And Kenny Omega was talking about how he was going to beat, Jungle Boy was a great wrestler and everything, and talked about how he was going to beat the shit out of him and everything. And so Kenny Omega and Don Callis were singing Jungle Boy's theme song, Tarzan Boy by Baltimora, and doing that whole thing and everything, which that was cool. Team Taz, which are Taz, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Hook, cut a promo, and Taz was talking about how Hangman Page got a victory against Brian Cage at Double or Nothing 3, but Taz was pretty much telling Hangman Page, you may have gotten a victory on the Machine Brian Cage at Double or Nothing 3, but let me remind you, Brian Cage also has gotten a victory on you on AEW Dynamite a few weeks back. And Taz issued a challenge to Hangman, and Taz was pretty much saying that that next week on AEW Dynamite, Team Taz, which are Brian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs, will face you, Hangman Page, and one of your buddies from the Dark Order and everything, which that was cool. Tony Schiavone interviewed Sting and Darby Allin, and when Tony Schiavone was getting ready to ask Sting and Darby Allin questions, Sting asked for the microphone, so Tony Schiavone gave Sting the microphone, and Sting got on the microphone and cut a promo saying that out of his 30 plus years in the wrestling business, AEW has been the best of his life, and it felt great being back in the ring for an actual match in 6 years and everything, and Sting thanked the fans and everybody in AEW and everything, and Sting gave the microphone to Darby Allin, and Darby Allin was getting ready to cut a promo, but Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page popped up on the Titantron, and Scorpio Sky was pretty much saying to Sting that he truly is an icon because he proved it in their tag team match at Double or Nothing 3 and everything. And Ethan Page, yeah, that was Scorpio Sky that said that, by the way, but Ethan Page got on the microphone and was talking about how Sting carried Darby Allin in the ring, and if it wasn't for Sting putting Darby Allin back in the ring, they would have won the match and everything. And Ethan Page was going on about how Darby Allin is living under Sting's shadow in his AEW career and everything. And Scorpio Sky issued a challenge to Darby Allin with him and Ethan Page against Darby Allin and somebody else. But Scorpio Sky was pretty much saying, how about you prove Darby Allin, how about you prove us wrong that you're not living in Sting's shadow, and how about you pick a partner of your choosing and face us, which are Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, in a match, and prove to us that you can do it on your own without Sting's help and everything. And then Darby Allin was speechless, and Sting was giving Darby Allin some advice, and Darby Allin was speechless and everything, which that was cool. Well, Tony Schiavone was in the ring with the Hybrid 2, which are Angelico and Jack Evans, Chaos Project with the... Tony Schiavone was in the ring with the Hybrid 2, which are Angelico and Jack Evans, Chaos Project, which are Luther and Serpentico, the Wingmen, which are Peter Avalon, Cesar Bononi, Ryan Nemeth, and J.D. Drake, Nyla Rose, Vicky Guerrero, and Diamante, and Tony Schiavone introduced Britt Baker and Rebel. So Britt Baker and Rebel came out to the ring, and Britt Baker was talking about how she won the AEW Women's title against Hikaru Shida at Double or Nothing 3 and everything, and Britt Baker was having Tony Schiavone and Rebel get burgers, so they did, and Britt Baker got a burger, and so Tony Schiavone, Britt Baker, and Rebel were getting ready to eat their burger, and that celebration, and Nyla Rose knocked the burgers out of Britt Baker, Rebel, and Tony Schiavone's hands, and threw the burgers out to the audience and out of the ring and into the audience. Nyla Rose did, and then Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero left, and Nyla Rose popped all the balloons in the ring and everything, and so Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero left while the Hybrid 2, Chaos Project, and Diamante. While the Hybrid 2, Chaos Project, the Wingmen, and Diamante were still in the ring, and Britt Baker was freaking out on Tony Schiavone, and Tony Schiavone was trying to calm Britt Baker down, and Rebel was freaking out because she got some ketchup or mustard on her arm and everything, which that was cool. Alex Marvez interviewed Eddie Kingston, and Alex Marvez was pretty much asking Eddie Kingston why he came out to save Pac and Penta El Cerro Miedo, because they were enemies once upon a time, and well, Eddie Kingston was getting ready to talk, but Penta El Cerro Miedo and Pac appeared and were pissed off at Eddie Kingston, and Penta El Cerro Miedo was asking Eddie Kingston why he got involved in their business, and Pac was telling Eddie Kingston to stay out of their business and everything, and Eddie Kingston was saying to Pac and Penta El Cerro Miedo, calling Pac his archenemy, and Penta El Cerro Miedo his former best friend, and Eddie Kingston was telling Pac and Penta El Cerro Miedo to hold your enemies closer, hold your friends close, but your enemies closer and everything, and so Eddie Kingston left while Pac and Penta El Cerro Miedo were just standing there all pissed off and everything, which that was cool. The Dark Order, which are Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, 510, Colt Cabana, and -1 cut a promo, and John Silver was making an announcement that Tony Khan granted him an opportunity to face Miro for the AEW TNT title, but John Silver was saying that since he's still not medically cleared, he surrendered his title shot to Evil Uno. Well, Evil Uno was saying that these opportunities don't come by very often, so he's going to take the opportunity to face Miro next week for the AEW TNT. Evil Uno was pretty much saying that these opportunities don't come by often, so he's going to take the opportunity and face Miro for the AEW TNT title next week on AEW Dynamite and everything, which that was cool. And Miro cut a promo saying how he thanked the Lord Jesus Christ for his power, and thanked his wife C.J. Perry, also known as Lana, for being hot. And Miro was talking about how he heard Evil Uno's challenge for the AEW TNT title and everything, and Miro talked about how nobody should challenge him if they're going to, unless they survive and everything, and Miro was talking about how he was going to beat the shit out of Evil Uno and retain the AEW TNT title and everything next week, which that was cool. Now, besides all that, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone and Excalibur done commentary throughout the whole show. They done awesome as usual. And Don Callis done guest commentary along with Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur during the match between the Young Bucks versus the Death Triangle. Don Callis done great on guest commentary. And now, the referees for the event were Rick Knox, Paul Turner, Bryce Remsburg, and Aubrey Edwards. Okay. Rick Knox refereed the match between the Young Bucks versus the Death Triangle. Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between the Factory versus the Nightmare Family. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between Jungle Boy and Christian Cage versus Private Party. Rick Knox refereed the match between Red Velvet versus The Bunny. And Paul Turner refereed the match between Dustin Rhodes versus Nick Comoroto in a bull rope match. All the referees done awesome as usual. Now, the match card, Now, the match card for next week's Now, the match card for next week's All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite on Friday, June 11th, 2021. The match card for AEW Dynamite next week, it's going to be Miro versus Evil Uno for the AEW TNT title. The Young Bucks, which are Matt and Nick Jackson and Brandon Cutler, versus the Death Triangle, which are Pac and Penta El Cerro Miedo and Eddie Kingston. And Team Taz, which are... the match card for next week's... The match card for next Friday... the match card for next Friday's edition of All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite, which will be on June 11th, 2021. It's going to be Miro versus Evil Uno for the AEW TNT title. The Young Bucks, which are Matt and Nick Jackson and Brandon Cutler, versus the Death Triangle, which are Pac and Penta El Cerro Miedo and Eddie Kingston. And Team Taz, which are Brian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs versus Hangman Page and 10. So that's the match card that's been announced for AEW Dynamite next week so far. And so the match card for next Friday's All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite for June 11th, 2021 looks like it's going to be awesome. I'll be looking forward to it, and I'll be watching it and everything. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite from last night, which was June 4th, 2021. Like I said, it was awesome from start to finish. And with that being said, my name is Austin Honecker, and I will catch your ass down the road.